Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Oh, what a game did we have on our hands! It was pure pack hitting from Rajasthan Royals. It was a totally clinical win for them. Rajasthan Royals, who was put on to bat first, scored 210, and that's where they won the game. And with the ball, you got to give credit to their opening ballers. Prasidh Krishna and
Yes.
Twen Bolt just decimated Sunrisers Hyderabad top order. I've got Jones and Nikhil joining me. Jones, initial thoughts. What did you make of the game, and where do you think it all turned up for Rajasthan? So they gained the momentum right in the first over.
I think that no ball was really costly for Sunrisers. If they would have got that first initial wicket, especially Butler's wicket, then I still believe Rajasthan would have been back foot. Especially we might have seen Padikkal coming at number 3 and
Yeah.
Sanju going to number
Right,
4 as well.
right,
So against two youngsters, even and Sunrisers having Bhuvaneshwar, Umran Malik, Natrajan, etc. So they would have been got that upper hand, but no balls was against Sunrisers in the match, and Rajasthan capitalized as well. They
right,
never got away at any stage. Once Butler opening partnership was broken, then Sanju came.
Yeah.
Sanju came and he got away and went through that similar more that run rate as well. So
mm,
that was the turning point of the match, and it was really tough for Sunrisers to come back as well. Even
right,
though chasing has been easier, but if you need to look at Rajasthan's spin bowling
Bowling
attack
attack.
as well, that
Yeah.
6 to 15
right,
stage will be really difficult for any team
Yeah.
facing this Ashwin plus
Ashwin,
UZ.
right.
So
yeah.
it will be easy for
Yeah.
that. I think that was the area, or that was the turning point for Rajasthan in this match.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nikhil, coming to you,
Yeah.
that's my next question as well. We spoke about the no ball, and Jones rightly mentioned that no ball was a big
Yeah.
disadvantage for a team like SRH. And from there on, that was a wicket as well. It's not a normal no ball where you get a free hit, where you lose.
Yeah.
And our catch also was dropped off Josh
Yeah.
Butler.
Yeah.
Now talking about that over which Umran Malik balled, right? Do you think that was a key setup for this huge total which they posted? Because that was a 22 run over, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think as John rightly mentioned that once you have like two of your premier starting bowlers bowling no balls, and then you could have literally had your the best guy out. That puts a lot more pressure on the bowling side to then try and do things far more quickly. So I think
Mm,
Umran, like we discussed in one of the previous episodes, is Umran's pace is his strength. But if he doesn't get
right,
his line right, then he will at times struggle, which I think was the case today in the first over. I think he came back really well. The ball to dismiss Devdutt Padikkal was great, that he got the ball to pitch in and then come in off the deck. So it just
right.
tells you that the guy has the potential. I
Mm.
think SRH as a unit just lagged a lot more. I thought planning in terms of who were they bowling when. So I think it was a completely off day for them. I don't quite agree even with their batting order that they pushed out in the chase.
Right. Jones, I have an interesting graphic now.
Yeah,
Sanju Samson, since 2020, he has always done well in the first game. You know that he gets off to a flying start to the tournament. He promises everybody. And these kind of knocks is when people start coming out and saying, oh man, Sanju Samson should be in the team right now and he deserves an Indian call up. Jones, what did you make of this knock, and how big a season is this going to be for Sanju Samson? Because Rajasthan Royals are trying to play a certain template of cricket, which we saw from
yeah,
Punjab as well. Just go from ball one, regardless if you lose wicket or not.
If you look at Sanju Samson from last year, there has
Right,
been some change in his batting. If you
yeah,
look at Sanju Samson from 2014 to 2019 or
yeah,
2020 IPL, then from 2021 IPL to here, even Said
right,
Mushtaq Ali, 2 seasons, then last IPL, then the first match. It has
mm,
been not that similar. Sanju Samson, we all know what happened in last decade. He has been, even
yeah,
he talked about that in the post match presentation as well. Like he talked about the game awareness. He knows when to
yeah,
attack, when not to attack. He has been taking the singles as well. It's not about that brutal hitting or brutal six hitting. He has been
yeah,
taking singles and respecting the bowlers as well. So that has been a change of Sanju Samson. I really hope that continues, and this Rajasthan needs that as well, because if you look at the top four, there are two inexperienced guys who hasn't played any international matches. You can't
Right.
expect them to win the IPL for Rajasthan Royals. It is the
Right.
job of Josh Butler, Sanju
Yeah,
Samson, Shimron Hetmyer to win the IPL, because if you look at the top six, if you, not top four, top six as well, there is three uncapped Indian players. Even though Padikal has
yeah,
played one match, but it's just
Yeah.
a sample size. So almost
yeah.
three uncapped Indian players and three experienced international stars, and they don't have a great number seven as well.
Number
So
seven.
if they
Yeah,
need to win the title, it should be from Butler, Samson, and Hetmyer. Any one
yeah,
of the Butler and Samson need to score that 500 runs, 500 runs in the season, 500 or 600.
yeah,
Or else I don't see them winning the IPL as well, because these three guys will be getting that lots of pressure. I really hope someone will be scoring that 600 or 500 season, and Hetmyer having a 300 run season or 350 run season. That is how
Absolutely.
I still think that is the way to be the top four for Rajasthan Royals.
yeah,
Absolutely. Nikhil, one of the interesting moves we saw today was Devdutt Padikkal batting in number four. And he
yeah,
batted pretty well. Initially, though he struggled, he was 19 of 18 balls. And from
yeah,
there on, he just took off that over by Romario Shepherd, where he took him
yeah,
down. And also, he played a couple of good shots against Umran Malik. One
yeah.
area which we have seen him struggle is when a quality pace ball is against him, he tends to struggle a little bit. He's a little slow on his shots. Do you see him as a long term number four for Rajasthan Royals, or do you want him to bat number three, as already their owner came out saying after the auction?
I think it is going to be a flexible thing that if they lose an early wicket, I think DDP will come out to bat at three. But if they have a good start, I think it's going to be Samsung who will promote himself up the order.
Right.
I think on good batting wickets, I don't think having DBP down the order will be that costly. But if it's a slower deck, the ball is doing a bit already, then I feel it's better you have Devdutt up in the power play, because then he can use that period to get himself in, and that way I think he can pace his knock better. Today, I honestly didn't think that he will be able to adapt as well as he did, and I
Right.
think that is the case with most middle order players. Like of players who take their time to get in, then it's the double pressure on them to ensure that they convert those start. Because, like you said, he was 19 of 18. If he gets out 21 of 20, it doesn't make any sense. Or 25, 22, it is the innings has gone nowhere. But if you can convert that into a 40 from 30 or 40, 50 from 30, then it makes sense that yes, you had that acceleration. So I think the flexibility is going to be the mantra that I think Rajasthan will apply here, and hopefully they don't lose that early wicket so that Devdutt can then come at a still reasonable period of time.
Jones, coming to you now. Now we spoke about how good Rajasthan's batting has been. Now let's talk about SRH's bowling as well, right? We saw when Rajasthan ball, especially when UZ balled, when Ashwin balled, if you ball at right areas, you could still get the purchase, and if you are able to land the ball in the right area. So, do you reckon SRH is missing a prime spinner, because Washington Sundar
Yeah,
cannot make into any team as your number one spinner, isn't it? Now, that's why they probably lack as well to control the game in the middle overs.
I think most of them has said the same thing before after the auction.
Right,
They lack a attacking spinner. Even though there
yeah,
is Shreyas Gobal in the bench, even he couldn't make it to the Karnataka playing 11 in the last domestic season. So I
right,
don't know
yeah,
how Sunrisers is going to trust him, and it's really
yeah,
tough for Sunrisers to play Gobal as well. If they
right,
need to play Gobal, they need to drop Washington Sundar. I don't see any other will
yeah,
be drop on the side, because number seven will be Marco Jenison or Romario Shepherd. Then you need to
yeah,
play three fast bowlers as well. So there is only one spot left. Either it should be Washington Sundar or
right.
Shreyas Gobal. So I still believe they'll be trusting Washington Sundar more, and they need to have like Umran Malik should be more in the middle order phase. And picking the wickets, because you can't expect Washington Sundar to get two or three wickets in a game. You can
yeah.
expect him to control the game, like
Control the game.
having
Yeah,
a RPO of 7 or 7.5 in each and every game, what he did for RCB in that
Right.
UAE IPL. But you can't expect him to pick two or three wickets. So that is where the importance of Umran Malik will be coming on. I really hope he will be bowling that 3 overs in that 7 to 15 phase. And if you look at most of the teams has that inexperienced Indian players in the middle order, like Mumbai Indians
yeah,
has Tilak Verma, a few other franchises have these players. Some of them are not occupied to play raw pace. And if Umran Malik can get that control very soon and bowling this 150, 148, it will be a really tougher opposition as well. So
Right.
ideally, Bhubaneswar should be setting up with the new ball, and that will be
Yeah.
helping Umran Malik as well. If Bhubaneswar is not setting up in the new ball, it will be putting lots of pressure on the youngster as
Yeah.
well. So ideally,
Right.
I believe the the job of Bhubaneswar is critical in this phase of this
Yes.
IPL for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Right. You saw ordinary bowling performance from Sunrisers, but on the other end, you saw some extraordinary spell of fast bowling to start off with.
Yeah.
Trent Bolt and Prasad Krishna, it just looked like a day one of a test match where the ball was just seaming around, the ball was just climbing, and Sanju Samson was collecting from right here. So,
Yeah.
if you're a fast bowling fan, you will definitely love it. And Nikhil, my question is that exactly. Prasid Krishna, we have seen him as an improved bowler over the last 1 year, especially now. He has
Yeah.
played for India, he's done well for India. And you've seen that with Siraj as well. When you play for India, you do well for India. When you come back to the IPL, you feel like, okay, now I've done well internationally, I can own the IPL tour. So, do you think this can be a breakthrough season for someone like Prasid?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is going to be the change for a lot of these bowlers because once you are part of the national setup, there are a lot of good habits or bad habits that you may or may not develop, which get changed when you are at the international stage with your national players. So I'm sure
Right,
Prasid would have learned a lot, having spent a lot of time with the team on the tours, and we saw that in the recent series that he played a critical role bowling. He's probably the only hit the deck bowler after anybody like the last hit the deck. You can't even remember who was the last hit the deck bowler who could bowl back of length for India
right,
in white ball cricket. So
yeah.
the team was happy to make that change to get somebody like him in the setup. I think which speaks that the confidence that they have in Prasid. And of course, as you said, once you do well in India, for India, then that confidence will obviously will be reflecting when you turn up for your IPL franchise. And he's going to play a critical role for Rajasthan in this tournament. As John said, it is the new ball wickets. Most of those franchises are going to look for the premier Indian bowlers to get them new ball wickets. As I think John said, if Bhuvi doesn't take you wickets, then the entire lineup is dependent on inexperienced bowling to get them a
Right,
lot of breakthroughs.
right,
So I
right,
think that is also where they could not use Sundar with the new ball today because the conditions were good for fast bowling. You wouldn't want a spinner to come in and open the bowling if their conditions are good. So that way, I think it was great to see Bolt and Prasid both use the conditions very well, and also the score mattered. Like once you have such a tall score, then you can bowl with that much more freedom that you want to
right.
just attack, and which is what they did. They bowled 3 overs from both ends, which you rarely see that happening. So it just tells you how on top of the game they were today.
Jones, one of the decisions which Sunrisers were very clear was with Abhishek Sharma opening. You know that he has done really well for Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy for Punjab, opening the batting, and he can also offer with the ball. Do you see that to be an ideal position for him, especially in a level like IPL, because the challenges are different. Ballers are going to definitely test him, and a pitch like this, he was totally tested in both the ends by Bolt and as well as Prasid. In a long-term manner, do you see him give that opening partnership with Kane? Because you understand that Kane is coming after a long injury, so you need someone
Yeah.
to take the attack. So you consider him to be the right opening partner with Kane?
The another issue, if Abhishek is going down the order, like they'll be having Abdul Samad, Abhishek Sharma, Washington Sundar, Romario Shepherd in that lower order phase, and that will be putting this top order as well in lots of pressure. Like Rahul Tripathi or Kane Williamson or Nicholas Puran, Adrian Macron, etc. need to score in each and every game, and they need to have that left and right combo as well. Like they can try out Washington Sundar or Abhishek Sharma as an opener. As of now, if you look at the press conference or interviews, etc., they are going to trust Abhishek Sharma, and that is why they have paid him more as well.
Hmm.
So there will be other side, and there will be another side as well. If they need to open with Rahul Tripathi and Kane Williamson, or Abhishek Sharma, or Kane Williamson, or Washington Sundar, or Kane Williamson. As if now it's just one game, we need to look at least 2 or 3 or 4 games to be a lot more critical. And if you look at Abhishek Sharma did as an opponent last year in the one or two matches, if I'm right, when Jason Roy was doing after the bowling, he did occasionally.
Yeah.
So it's too early to tell where Abhishek Sharma will be standing, but he has done well in the Punjab for Syed Mushtaq Ali or other leagues as well. So I believe it's too early to comment on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Just one
I have a
point here.
follow-up question. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Just
go on,
one
go
point
on.
here, Jones. Do you think Jones Williamson should bat at three? I feel you are effectively losing your best batsman already in the power play. I think that will probably be safer option to go with Williamson at three. I think Rahul Tripathi should open. He's a much better bat in that way.
That was exactly my question.
Okay.
I think Kane Williamson in power plays, maybe they might be thinking to take the advantage of bowling and the field restriction, and Kane Williamson will be the better guy. And we all know Rahul Tripathi what he did at number three for KKR as well. He used to
Yeah.
take down the spinners, so that might be thinking of management. And as you know, they have started this too early. We can make different combinations. That is the
Yeah, yeah, of
one
course.
aspect Sunrisers has. They can send Nicholas Pura at number three,
Yeah,
Makram as an opener. So they have lots
yeah,
of combinations. That is why I think they missed out few things as well. Like they spent too much on Marco Jenison and Romari
yeah,
Shepherd in that option. One will be sitting on the bench, and everyone knew that they are going to be sitting one guy in the bench, and we don't know why they overpaid that. And that is why
yeah.
I still think they should have gone for Ishan Kishan as an opener. They had the
Yes,
price tag. They should have
yes.
easily got Ishan Kishan. I don't know why they withdraw that last etc. Given to Mumbai Indians. If Ishan Kishan would have been the franchisee, the stability, the flexibility, the wicket keeping option, everything would have sorted for the next 10 years. So I
Yeah,
still believe they made a big blunder on the Ishan Kishan play.
I was on the Twitter and one of you guys put up the stat regarding Nicholas Puran. The last 12 innings is this fifth duck, and
yeah.
today's duck was a longer one as he stayed in the crease for 10 balls. Nikhil, my question is this: now you're going to have a Marco Janssen who's going to definitely come in. He's coming off a very good stint in the international cricket. Do you think he'll be a right chunk in the puzzle because he might just bring in the stability? Because today you saw Romario Shepherd. If you look at his T20 records, he has an RPO of close to 9, and you know that he has a tendency of going for runs. And when Marco Janssen comes in, adds variety as well. And probably then you can drop Natarajan and bring in someone like Karthik Tyagi who can possibly open the bowling as well.
I think I don't think that they'll go down that route. As John said, they've paid a lot of money to get Romario Shepherd, and they're probably looking at Romario Shepherd as their batting all rounder. If you go down the Marco Jensen route, then you're going with an extra bowling option. I think they
Right,
already have a lot of bowling options in that regards. So it is just about using them at the right slot so that they can find something out of it. Because as he said, if you take out Shefford and you put in Marco Jensen, then the lower middle order is very, very weak. I mean,
right.
it's on paper, then it becomes very weak, very all domestic players only. And though Romero Shepard is not that experienced, but he gives them that idea, that option of having somebody who can hit pace bowling. And at in IPL also, we often see a lot of teams don't have the best possible pace attack, and we saw what Odion Smith did to Bangalore. So he's just somebody who can do a similar sort of thing. And I think his bowling is still under development, which he'll definitely get better at. But and you can't drop T Natarajan from the side. I mean, he's probably one of their best options in the death bowlers. So I think they'll probably stick to this. And if things don't work out, I think Puran is probably the only place that they might want to replace somebody. Otherwise, I see all Williamson, Makram, and Shefford playing most of the games.
Yeah, before we go, let's put the
Yeah.
fantasy segment of the day. I know you both are into fantasy cricket. Jones and Nikhil, my question is to both of you: how many of you did you have in the team? I'm sure that many of you had Sanju Samson for sure because of that stat of the first game. So
Yeah.
let me know about that. Jones, I'll start with Jones and I'll come to the Guru, of course.
I don't play fantasy.
Oh, oh,
He doesn't need to play fantasy. He's too good in any which ways.
yeah. Jones has got this prediction. I think you should start playing fantasy right boomer 11. This is your start.
Yes.
If I
Good
pick
plan.
any player, if I pick any player, they only perform.
Reference. Oh,
Arey, it's
that's a
okay.
weird
Give
superstition.
those.
Huh?
No, give that list to me. That will work out for me then.
Yes. I'll come to Nikhil. Look at the list and how
Yeah.
many did you have in your team?
Yeah, I had four of them in my side.
Oh wow.
I missed out on Makaram purely because of the TV commercial.
Yeah.
Not the TV commercial, the TV graphic. It showed Makaram
Right.
opening. And
Right.
I
Right.
legit felt that one of Prasid or Bolt will definitely get one of the openers out, and
Yeah.
I felt one of them, like both openers, will be gone very early. But unfortunately, Makram came at number five, and then I was like, okay, it's okay. I
Yes.
still got the my money back because I had the rest four, and I knew Chahal would do very well in the second innings, so
Yeah.
he was my second innings captain as well. So that's
Oh wow.
a
Absolute.
good way out.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Before we go, a small
Yeah.
talk on the course which Nikhil is doing. Nikhil, handing over to
Yes.
you. about Mad About Sports and the course which you're doing on fantasy cricket.
Yes, so the course is exactly how I talked about. Some it's not going to be always that we'll be able to make the best possible teams, but what is in our hands is trying to control the controllables. Like today, Josh Butler could have been out on a duck. He was a potential, he was common captain of many guys. But that this is one of the aspects of fantasy that when things, as John said, if I pick a player, he'll not perform. But
Right,
if you spend enough time trying to analyze the games that you play and the games that you lose, you will find the reason. You will find there
right,
is a pattern to your thinking. So, Jones, I'll recommend you also please take that course for me, at least. You'll get the links in the description. See, the simple point is we
game
all
stuff.
love to watch the game. My simple funda is to try and make fantasy cricket so easy and relatable that everybody can be in this for the long haul. I
Right,
don't want people to play for a while, lose money, and then go away. I want to
right,
help them get to a stage where they regularly get money, and it's a long haul. You don't want easy money. You want to be enjoying the process. As I say, learn to earn. So the course has all the tips, tricks, and hacks that I've had over the last 8 years, which have helped me win a decent amount. And I feel you all can benefit from it. So please take the course. It will help you be in profit. And I'm looking forward to you taking the course, Jones.
Definitely, we'll see Jones soon giving fantasy tips as well. Well,
Yes.
having said that, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I was lovely to discuss the match with you. And talking
Yeah.
about financial risk, you don't have financial risk at all if you're playing on Boomer 11. It's totally free to play.
Oh,
And this IPL, you can win prizes up to $5,000.
yeah.
And for all the latest updates, follow our Instagram page and subscribe us on YouTube. We'll be joining every day live analyzing the post game with these two lovely gentlemen, giving you some insight on fantasy cricket as well. And hopefully by the end of the IPL, Jones will be a professional fantasy player.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Having said that, good night, gentlemen. Have a good time.
Thank
Yes,
you so much.
sir.
Pleasure talking.